Hi everyone, welcome back to Media and Information Literacy subject. And for today's topic, we'll be dealing with Introduction to Media and Information Literacy. This lesson and subject are collaborated with my co-teachers, Mr. Kevin Esmin and Mr. Jerome Mendoza, who is also teaching Media and Information Literacy subject. So let's now proceed. So these are the topics to be discussed into the presentation that will follow. First, we're going to review what is communication. Second, when do we communicate? Third, what are the two types of communication? And also, we're gonna be dealing with who are the digital natives, how communication is affected in media and communication, what are the threats of media, why study media and information literacy, and also the differences of media literacy, technology literacy, information literacy, and media and information literacy, and also what are the roles of media and information in effective communication. So let's now proceed with our first topic. So since we're going to deal with the subject media and information literacy, which the core of it is communication. So before we go into the deeper concept and discussion of that, let's define first what is communication. So communication is basically the act or process of using words, sounds, signs, or behaviors to express or exchange information or to express your ideas, thoughts, feelings, etc. to someone else. Or this is exchange of information and the expression of feelings that can result in understanding. We do have one-way process of communication, which is basically we just look into the different platforms. You're using your televisions, mobiles, and all. While the other one, which is about the two-way process of communication, wherein there's a feedback. Anyway, you have already understand this one way back in your subject in speech and oral communication. So let's now proceed. So when do we communicate? What's the purpose of communicating? When we communicate, is basically the purpose is for us to inform someone of what we feel, of what we are thinking. And also, when we want to express our feelings or thoughts. So when we want to show and say that we are happy, we try to communicate. When we show that we are angry also, we try to communicate for us to be understood by someone. Okay? Another one is the purpose of communication also is for imagination. So when we want to show how we creatively imagine things, we try to communicate using the written words, like your poems, like your songs. So when we put imagination into reality, we try to put it in communication. Another one is we communicate because we want to influence others. We want to influence our beliefs to others. We want to influence also how we try to look into and how we try to put ideas, concepts, and put it into utterance. Okay? So another one is we try to communicate, we try to be talkative because we want to meet the social expectations. Because into the setup of social community, humans now are always into communicating. That's why we do have the tagline that no man is an island. So a man should be talking and a man should share their feelings and emotions to live into a certain island or to live into a certain community because that is what expected from you. Okay? So what are the two basic types of communication? We do have the nonverbal communication, which deals with signs, symbols, colors, gestures, body language, facial expression. And the other one, which is another type of communication, is about the verbal communication, which can be orally, through mouth and through sounds. And the other one, which is about the written, wherein you can see it into your textbooks, into the newspaper wherein it is presented in written words. Okay? So, however, communication is not only concise with the two types of communication. These two types of communication are already presented into the digital forms, like your cell phones, your iPod, your televisions, and the other forms were inclined with the modern technology. So, if you are inclined with technology, you are called as digital natives, or what we call the Generation Z, I think. So, digital, or what we call millennials. So, digital natives are millennials. So, I am one of the millennials, and you, of course, are also included and members of the millennials, or the millennial world. So, I'll be giving you the statistics. So, as digital natives here in the Philippines, the internet users in the Philippines were about 73.0 million internet users in the Philippines in January 2020. So imagine the users of and people or digital natives try to communicate using your social media. And internet penetration in the Philippines stood at 67% in January 2020. So imagine that. So social media users in the Philippines were about 73 million in the Philippines in January 20, and the number of social media users in the Philippines always continually increased by 5.8 million plus 8.6% between April 2019 and January 2020. So as you see, internet or social media users doesn't anymore choose what age are you in. Even 5 years old are already into the social media. Even 3 years old or 2 years old already watching the different platforms of media. So that's why social media penetration in the Philippines stood at 67% in January 2020. Because as digital natives, we don't want to be left behind with the updated information and with the modern technology comes around into our community and into our country, and also to be globally updated. Okay? So another one also, the mobile connections in the Philippines which is about 173.2 million in the Philippines in January 2020. And the number of mobile connections in the Philippines increased by 38 million. So plus 28% between January 2019 and January 2020. And the number of mobile connections in the Philippines in January 2020 was equivalent to 159% of the total population. So imagine how how are we inclined with with the use of social media and also with the use of internet. So definitely, we are so exposed with media. We are so exposed with what is happening around the world using your mobile phones, using your tablet, using your iPad. That's why all of us are exposed with, the threats of media. Okay? So, but how is communication affected by media and information? So, here is the tool, the media communication tools, and this is the communication. So, what are we putting into the media? This information are put into communication and transferred to the media or the tools of media. So, in line with that, because of no face-to-face and only social media and only other digital platforms and all, definitely there may be, and most of the time, misinterpretation of communication because they are already into the media platforms. Fake news are coming, and also lots of issues, from small issues going to a bigger issue because of media and information. And next one would be, for the reason to study media information literacy is, it helps you determine and identify communication and marketing ploys. So, for not to be into the mogus or mabudol-budol, Media and information literacy will help you with that. Para hindi kayo maloko ng mga bogus buyers or bogus sellers like that. Media information literacy subject will help you how to cope with it and how to strategize with it. Another one is it teaches you how to not be swayed by persuasion techniques. Para hindi kayo naluloko ng mga lalaki in terms of your group chat, or hindi kayo naluloko ng mga nasa social media na gawin mo to, or i-buy mo to, or you promote this one. So, media and information literacy subject will try to help you with that. Another one is it encourages you to actively participate in public affairs as a citizen. You may contribute to our government in terms of what you see, in terms of what you have observed. You can tell them through your social media. Okay? You can be a journalist citizen through media and information literacy. Another one is it teaches you how to create your own content. That's why we do have lots and famous bloggers around the world or around the country because of media and information literacy. Bloggers are earning. Bloggers are providing themselves through media and information literacy by having their own content, by having their own individuality. Okay? So, as we go on with the subject media and information literacy, we may encounter the following words: literacy, media, information, and then technology. Literacy is basically about identifying, understanding, interpreting, creating, communicating, and computing. So when we talk about literacy, it's about being knowledgeable, being educated. Being educated in terms of reading, understanding the information that you see on the different platforms. Okay? Well, media is basically the physical objects or the tools that we use through by putting the information in it. So the examples of media are radios, televisions, computers, your cell phones, your films, and like that. So these are examples of your media. Okay? Next one is information. Information is basically what you put into your media. So from literacy is how you become educated. This is the process. While for the information is basically what you put into the literacy and what you put into your media platforms. Okay? So to differentiate further the following, we try to incorporate media into literacy, information into literacy, and then technology into literacy. So what is media literacy? Media literacy is basically the ability to read, analyze, and evaluate and produce communication in a variety of forms, which is about the media. So being literate in media. So being literate in media is a way into what media platforms are you going to use into a certain thing. If you want to share your information to a specific audience, what media platforms are you going to use? Are you going to use television, mobile phones, your laptops, and the rest? While information literacy is about recognizing when information is needed and locate, evaluate, effectively use, and communicate information in its various format. Information literacy is basically the credibility and also the truancy of the information that you're giving. Do you think the information that you're getting is correct? Do you think the information that you get is believable? So that is information literacy. While technology literacy is basically how you use the digital products, how you use the cell phone, how you use the television. Okay? So that's technology literacy. It's basically more of the procedure thing that you're doing when you try to manipulate these media platforms, these gadgets. That's technology literacy. Now, as we are exposed into the use of media, using our media platforms, lots of threats or more threats will be coming as we go on and deal with the use of media. Some media becomes a source of misinformation and fake news, or these are sometimes utilized to push personal gain and agenda, making the receiver of the information deceived, confused, and misinformed. So, marami ang naluloko, okay? And marami ring naluloko because of media. Another one, through also media, we are exposed with, though media help us improve the way we communicate, it is also abused by many. Everybody publishes whatever they want and mindful of the consequences of their posts. Social media made everyone feel that they are allowed to say whatever comes to their mind. So because of media, we can express ourselves in any way that we want, that no filter anymore. So since freedom of expression is being presented and being exercised by lots of people, no more filter of information. So more into fake news, more of feelings-oriented, more of subject-oriented, and not more being objective. Objective in a way that the information that we present is credible and complete and true. Another one is media can also post medical, social, and psychological issues. What is posted on media may cause dissatisfaction with body image, create addiction, promote identity stealing, and can destroy interpersonal relationship. So this means that as we expose ourselves to media, we expose also our private life. So our life becomes publicly owned by people. So in line with that, we are engaged to addiction or computer addiction, social media addiction, or we also promote stealing of our information and the rest, okay? Anyway, we're going to be dealing with this one as we go on with the discussion of media and information literacy. So, how are we going to stop these threats? Actually, the three that I have discussed is just the common one, but there are still more. So, how are we going to stop these threats? Do you have any idea? So, we can stop these threats by being media and information literate individual. Are you media and information literate individual? Do you still experience those threats? Or do you see yourself in the future that you may experience this? I hope not. So that's why we're going to deal with the subject media and information literacy to stop those threats. This subject, media and information literacy, is open to all courses that we have in senior high school. This is a core subject of senior high school under K-12 curriculum. So let's now proceed. Why do we need to study media and information literacy? What's the importance of the subject? Basically, the importance of the subject is, first, it teaches you how to verify information. Para hindi kayo naloloko, you have the media and information literacy subject to know which is to believe and to stop be influenced with the information posted into your social media. Okay? So you try to filter information. Another one is it encourages you for critical thinking. You filter information and you think beyond what is into the text. And you think beyond what is in the information. Hindi kayo naluloko. Understand? So, it's just basically of WH questions or whatsoever. But you look beyond what is, you look beyond what the information and how the information is presented into the media platforms. Another one is it encourages you to share other sources of media responsibly. You know what information to be shared what information to be explored, and what information can be collaborated with the others. Okay? Another one is it informs readers how the media affect our culture. So, through media information literacy, we try to share and promote our own culture to other countries. We promote our traditions and we preserve the cultural traditions of our country. So the collaboration of information and knowledge, culture, traditions, and the best practices that we have here in the Philippines, media and information literacy will help us to go through